Help that I live in the hood.
Sorry, I love that I come back to all these. I can't help that I live in the hood.
It sets the background fan noise. I thought he said, and it sets the ambience. No, I thought he said, and I can hear the ambulance, which I could hear out my window.
I mean,
So
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it's not gunshots. So hi, everybody. Welcome to the Maritime Paintball Podcast and traffic reporting here in Moncton, New Brunswick on beautiful CHSR 97.9 FM in Fredericton. Eyes
to buy. Can you hear me okay?
Paintball. And with me tonight
can you hear
is
me?
the much loved and beautiful bearded Bradley Odell.
Yeah, I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. I'm very quiet in my headphones. There, that's better.
Taylor's here. Cameron's here.
Here we go.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Christopher Struck, big shout out to apparently to me for helping him watch the ESPN show, which we're going to be talking about today.
I'm
right.
excited. I didn't get to watch it, so I'm.
Got to watch it. So it originally aired. Excuse me. Okay, first of all, full disclosure, I have a cold, so I will try my best not to cough into the microphone. I'm going to keep hitting the mute unmute button as we go along. So, but
I mean, I have a mute unmute button for coughing too. So
right,
just not usually because I have a cold.
This podcast just became a 19th century British Parliament meeting.
I would have also accepted Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets.
Oh God, yes, I would love that. That'd be amazing. If we ever meet,
By the way, this podcast is brought to you by beautiful Moncton Paintball, my favorite, my home, who sponsor our show. So I might as well throw that in there, even though we're coughing and sounding like 19th century savages. We are not sponsored by Rain.
No, we're not.
No. But Nova, I have been talking to our friend TJ. My favorite Southerner he's been up to no good. He is up to no good down there. Nothing good is going to come out of that is going to be inexpensive and beautifully handcrafted and will fire incredibly accurately. None of that will be happening. He's not doing anything like that that's going to change the face of Umpay. Those poor pump people, I don't know how they're going to take what he's got coming down the pipe. That sounds dirty.
He's got some cool stuff coming down the pipeline. I'm very excited for it. Like very, very excited for it. Even though the Hellion has, I guess, accurately earned its name.
I am standing by that you acted like every other paintballer and you screwed with it and it stopped working.
That may be.
I truly believe that's what happened.
In my defense,
I'm listening.
I got nothing. I really got no defense. I really don't.
It's okay. The All Father's coming with me to. He's coming with me to Wasaga.
Nice.
She's got. Oh, I have to bring her.
Nova's there. Nova's in the chat. What's going on?
Hi, Nova.
So this episode, basically, we're going to be talking about. Quick shout out to Moncton doing their 1v1 joust thing.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to try and go on with it, depending on the weather.
The weather does look a little hit or miss.
Looks a little.
I think personally should be rain or shine. Enemy ran theirs rain or shine. There was mud everywhere.
Oh man, that was
push through.
It was a filthy, filthy weekend.
Don't be one of those guys or girls. Go paintballing. People. Yeah, don't be one of those people.
That's a good idea.
Come rain or shine, damn it.
I will.
Sorry, I'm coughing into the mic. I am horribly uneducated on this stuff. So, that's out of the way. We'll be talking more about that next week. We'll do a recap on how the event went. Now,
so I see Explore Paintball he's gotten his cocker on from our friends at
did
Nova.
He get one, or is he just seen videos of it and is like
saying
that
it's
looks
fire?
dope.
I'm assuming he's seeing the videos that we've all seen.
Because it does look awesome. It does look amazing. I want one. I can't justify it. Hell, I don't know when the next time I'm going to be able to get out to a field is. So I'm done with gear for the rest of the year.
That's okay. I'm the gear. I'm the gear hooer.
Yeah, it doesn't come out for a few weeks. There we go. Okay, so he's just seen the videos. He loves it. But we're talking tonight. I'm going to be talking about, I guess, the ESPN broadcast that happened. Now, here's the cool thing: we're going to pull a Hobbit here, and we're going to make an hour show out of a half-hour broadcast. Anyone get that joke? They made 3 movies out of 1 novel. Thank you. Okay.
Yes. We got the joke. That's the joke.
That's the joke. The broadcast was really great. So first of all, the original air date was like Sunday at 2 a.m. my time. So I missed the original air date. And I was like, well, that sucks. Hopefully I can find it online somewhere or like, you know. And then out of nowhere, they were like, we've got another time slot. It's like 1 p.m. in the afternoon on a Sunday. And I was like, let's go. And then it's like, oh, we're going camping that weekend. So I may have set up my own little PVR to be able to watch it.
This show is not live.
No, it's actually coming to you from the future. If you're watching this, we're going to give out the lotto numbers. And so they rebroadcast it. So I was like, oh, we can watch it. Okay, awesome. This is amazing. So I sat down, I watched it. And I got to say, I really enjoyed it. Not live. Thanks, guys. Is this show live? No. All right, cool. It's like when when you were kids going over to, psst, are you awake? Yes. Like, what did you expect?
I thought you were going to say, psst, are you awake? It's 2 a.m. on Saturday night.
Ooh.
Go to Channel 11.
Channel 11. Or well, I thought, do you know what that tone though? That cadence of your voice there? Really, I was fully expecting a Saturday Night Live. Psst, like, are you awake? And it's like, anyways, where was I going with this? I enjoyed the broadcast. So, they did a really, really great job. It is what they did is they took all the footage and they edited it down. God, I hate trying to say that.
They part it down to something, digestible.
It reminded me of like when you catch the highlights. You know what I mean? Like you miss the hockey game, you catch the highlights, and they'll do like an after show, and they've got all like the top ones.
That'd be pretty cool. That does. I like that idea. It weeds out a lot of chaff of just sitting there.
It did.
Those of you who've watched a lot of baseball on TV, get that one.
Oh my God, I can't watch a baseball game.
Not on TV.
I will. No, it's because in the stands you've got entertainment like the hot dog guy, the popcorn guy.
You get to people watch in the stands.
You get to people watch. Also, baseball is one of those games where you can have a full conversation with whoever you've gone with, and it doesn't interrupt the game. You know what I mean? Like you try to have a conversation watching a hockey game, and it's kind of hard. But
I don't know. I've never really watched a lot of sports, man.
Oh, okay.
And I'm a terrible Canadian. I don't watch a lot of hockey. No, I watched the Formula One, so I'm not even like a good Canadian race car fan because not a lot of people watch Formula for the longest time. Now I love it. It's great. Cargo Zoom. So tell me more about this broadcast.
Yeah, so this broadcast.
How was the commentary?
It was good. It was good. There was a guy that showed up. I didn't recognize his name, but he was co-commentating with Maddie Matheson. Or not Maddie Matheson. Jesus, that's the chef. I've forgotten his name now. The guy from Go Sports.
Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis.
No, Matt. Oh my God! Somebody in the chat help me. The commentator from Go Sports. Oh my God! I can picture his face too.
He said Ghostbusters. You suck.
Brad Sucks bailed on Wasaga. It's Matty Marshall. That's what it is. His name is Matty Marshall.
That's right, Tyler. That's right, Tyler. I promised I wouldn't give him any shit for it. You guys, on the other hand, go for it.
That's fine.
Go for it.
I deserve it.
He will take his licks. He deserves it.
I deserve it.
That's all right. I'm going to represent the two of us, and that means Brad's probably going to get booed out of every place he goes to.
That's perfectly fine as long as they know my name.
Yeah, I'm going to expose myself, and I'll have a little beard trimmed down, and that's Brad. Yeah, take a look. Sorry, his nose isn't as big as you thought it was in real life.
No, it's not. It's pretty average. I was in the pool. So the commentating was really good. First of all, before the game started, actually, let me explain for anybody who missed it. It only showed the final point between Red Legion and Aftershock. I think it was Aftershock. Yeah, Red Legion and Aftershock. And so it was just that last 20-minute point. That was all that this thing was basically built from. And before they started, before the teams got on the field, the commentators actually broke down the basic rules of speedball. So if you were coming into this and you have no idea what this is, and you kind of like flick it through the channels, it's 2:00 in the morning and you've woken up, and it's because we don't have infomercials anymore with like CD sets that wake you up at 2:00 in the morning.
Oh, so you were watching ESPN The Ocho.
Yeah. So
God, I have to go watch dodgeball now.
It's funny is the Major League Paintball came on right after Major League Tire Wrestling, which I didn't know was a thing.
Tire wrestling.
Yeah, so they set up 2 tractor tires or whatever, and 2 or 3, and they wrestle, and the idea is to put your opponent in the tires.
I'm weirdly okay with it.
It was hilarious to watch. It was funny, man. It's funny. So anyways.
What the hell?
So if you're watching this, if you're watching the Major League Paintball broadcast on ESPN and you have no idea anything about paintball, they broke the rules down for you. They were like, this is how it works. This is how many players. This is what they do. And they even broke it down to the point where it's like, you're out when the ball breaks and leaves a mark. You get the point by getting the buzzer. The timer doesn't stop, even though everyone on a team's been eliminated. They don't, like, they really broke it right down. And then they did a full using the game Paintballers on Steam, which is endorsed by Major League Paintball. They did a full breakdown of the paintball field, explaining the snake side, the Doritos side, the center, the castle, because this layout had a castle, which is when you have like snakes wrapped around a brick. And they explained like the point, like the reason for each bunker, kind of like each lane. Like they're talking about the reason for snake and the reason for Dorito and like what you'd expect to happen. And it was kind of cool. They did a really good job of explaining the layman's terms of competitive speedball. Now they're not going into like super granular detail because you don't need it.
No, you're watching a 20-minute point, 20-minute final point. So yeah,
exactly. If you want to dig into it, you're going to dig into it on your own.
Go Sports, but what they want to look like graphically. That tracks.
Yeah,
Go
honestly, yeah.
Like Go Sports is great. So I could imagine just having the budget of ESPN to do the graphics and have a little bit more backing behind it. Kind of makes sense.
The difference is Go Sports is doing everything live, and they're doing it on the fly. This was recorded, and then they had like 10 or 15 days to edit it to put it together. I could see the vote happening for Brad to go to Wasaga, and I can't. I'm sorry.
I've already like threatened to balaclava and just and kidnap him, but that's a lot of extra driving for me to go to Fredericton to drag his ass to Moncton. So it's all right. Master Chicken's going to get his own seat on the airplane, or hell, I'm going to bring a teddy bear.
There you go. 1 second here.
Why do they towel points? I've never heard that one before.
It's a term you don't really hear a lot, but it's conceding the point.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
So it's like if let's say your team is down to it's 5-on-1. And it's like, okay, cool. My guy could try and hold out and maybe get a miracle, or I could just concede the point, give them the point, reset the clock, let's go again.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Oh, Macaulay's from Wasaga.
I can't go to a stop, please. I really
They're,
can't, because
they're really not going to stop.
if I tried to go now, it would.
Oh,
Oh
God,
no!
the shitstorm.
I don't even
want
to think about it.
Unbelievable, boys. It would be unreal. I kind of know a little more than I did about 20 minutes ago, and yeah, it's a shitstorm that I don't want to deal with. So to hell with it. He can deal with that. I'm coming to Wasaga to party my ass off.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for all of you that I'm coming to party.
Yeah. You guys have an unrestrained Tom coming because he's not going to have to spend his energy or time keeping me from slapping the shit out of somebody.
Nope, I'm going to be able to go. I got to go find some Rorks, RORK, at some of those savages. Like I said, I want to find some of my family down there. Apparently, there are people like me around there. God help all of you. If I find them, you're all screwed. Oh, leaving for airsoft like the frontline Damien.
Okay, sorry about that. Sorry, there was a lot of dead air.
Jesus. This Damien guy is going for the throat. Leaving for airsoft like the frontline podcasters. Oh.
Wait, what? Frontline podcast? The Frontline boys are going to airsoft? They can't be.
Well, maybe they're trying it. I mean, hell, man. Combat sports is combat sports as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so, but I'm just like, if they do, then that's just, not to be that guy, but that's just one more paintball podcast we've outlived. Not to be a jerk. There was during COVID, there was a lot of paintball podcasts kind of popped up overnight and then fizzled out within an hour because people were like, "Oh, this is actually a lot of work," and so it was a running joke for a little while of like, I outlived that one. Oh, I outlived that one. So
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the enemy lads like Macaulay and that gang, and then we got NFT there. They're all going.
Yeah,
I'm looking. Yeah. It's going to be a group of real happy assholes down there. Rolling with Dave and Tyler and George is going to be a blast.
Yeah,
that's going to be. But I have to take the GO train. I got to get on the GO train in Pearson and take my ass. I can't remember what I said. I wrote it down, but I'm going to figure it out. It's just me, so what's the worst that could happen? As long as I get to Wasaga, I play some paintball, and I get my ass back to the airport on Monday.
That's all that matters.
And from what I'm understanding, these people, the Fancy Dan province has a really good train system. So I'm just going to take advantage of that.
It does. It looks like Lead Farmer's leaving to join a laser tag team.
That's awesome. I can't believe that he's old enough to remember laser tag. They
got some pretty intense laser tag nowadays. So back to the ESPN broadcast before you guys guilt me into Wasaga. So they did the rundown, and then they talked about the point system and how that works, and then they talked about the field, and then the game starts, and they do because they have the luxury of it not being live, they can edit and move camera angles based on what they need to move, right, to show. Excuse me. So what they did was they showed off the break, you saw both camera feeds at the same time. And then once both teams were out, it would go to a bird's eye view, and they had numbers, like the player's number, on a little graphic would follow them. And when they got taken out, a big red X would show up. And occasionally they would show okay, this player is actually bunkering this player over here, and you would see the yellow arrow, like they'd be drawing field of views, that kind of thing, so you kind of see what they're looking at, get an idea of that. And it was just, it was really easy to follow. So, speaking of which, if anybody, if anybody watched it, love to hear your opinions and hear what people's thoughts were. We do have the phone line open, so feel free to give us a call at 506-453-4979. I'd love to hear what people thought of this broadcast, because I was really excited for it, and I actually enjoyed it. So, they're showing the point. They're bouncing around. They tried to use the GoPros a little bit, but I found that they were underutilized, and I think that was because whoever slapped the GoPros onto the cameras or onto the masks didn't take into account why people do the whole thing where they flip it upside down and put it on the lens. And also, Speedball tends to have the hopper in the way.
Yeah.
So I don't think they really took that into account. So what you got was a lot of running and sliding. Let's see who's calling.
Who actually listens to this show to want to call it?
I don't know. Somebody, apparently.
I'm terrified of who it's going to be.
Hello, you're on the air. Hello. Hello?
Hey guys, how you
Ahoy,
doing?
ahoy.
Oh, there we go. Oh, it's this guy.
Hey, it's Chris, guys, big fan.
Oh, third time caller,
Third time
fourth time caller. That's okay. We still love when you call, Chris. How are you tonight?
Just had a question for Brad. How come he's not going to Wasaga?
I hate you so much.
You're the one who loves
everybody's
having a
waiting for
call-in
the
show.
answer,
You
so,
open this can of worms.
I love having a call-in show. I hate that I'm friends with Chris.
I think I just want to give a big shout out from here, from this podcast to the greatest YouTuber out there, Let Farmer. Shout out to him, and hope to see him in Wasaga. I'm a big fan. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You too, buddy.
You too, buddy.
Self-promoting piece of shit.
But you know what? I will give him props because I never thought anyone would be able to top Nightmare's code, Nightmare PB.
That's right. We almost forgot. Don't forget, get your 30% discount on G Fuel. Haven't had my coffee tonight. I love the unnatural way that it sticks to the bottom of my bottle. It also mixes great with pina coladas.
Nice.
Holy shit. Oh, yeah, man. G Fuel coladas are amazing. I don't advocate the use of that, but
Nope,
I do
couldn't.
suggest trying it.
Couldn't. So during the broadcast, the commentators were doing a really great job of using a very different language than what they used in Ghost Sports, is what I noticed. They really dumbed it down. They really slowed it down. It was actually more pleasant to listen to because I found with, and again, it's because they have that that luxury of editing the footage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these guys are commentating, and maybe they didn't slow it down. Maybe just having the footage match them made it less jarring.
Easier to call.
Yeah. Well, they were calling it live. But I think what's happening, they called it live, and normally at Ghost Sports, they would call something out. They'd be like, okay, let's say, Greenspan's been, took out this person or whatever, or Greenspan's taken out. And then 4 or 5 seconds later, the camera would snap over to, like, they would have the camera switch to try and catch that shot, but it's already happened. It's too late. Mm-hmm. This time, as they're saying it, you're watching it happen because they've flipped the camera in editing to give you a better angle to show you what they're commentating on, which was actually just great. It was awesome. And then they would talk, like they would actually ask each other questions, clarifying questions. Like, for example, they did ask, like at one point, one of the guys did a move that I think I've only ever, I know it happens a lot, but I only seen it 1 or 2 other times on Ghost Sports, is where, so let's say you're shooting at a bunker. Let's say you're at the 25, right? Maybe there's a brick there or something. You take a full pot of paint and you throw it at the bunker in front of you. And that bunker wiggles. And you're hoping the other players, the guys on the other team, will think you ran into that bunker. And then it diverts their attention. You can kind of get a quick angle on them or something like that. And they actually did that. And then Buddy explained it and explained the reason for it. Maddie Matheson did.
So wait, somebody actually
Maddie
tried
Marshall.
that.
Maddie
They
Marshall.
showed it and it worked, and
It didn't work.
and-
The funny thing is he did it, but nobody was there to fall for the trick. And they even called him out on it too. They were like, "Oh, it's a great trick, but there's nobody there to fall for it."
You know what? That's great, though. I'm glad that he tried it and nobody was there. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And then I'm trying to remember one of the questions.
On the third pitch, on the third strike, like it just.
They asked. One of the points got conceded. Excuse me. One of the points got conceded, And he actually asked, the other commentator asked Maddie, he was like, okay, why would you do that? Why did that happen?
Yeah.
And
So
then,
they had good commentators, it sounds like.
They really did, especially because one of them, I'd have to do, I didn't do the research. I really didn't look into it. But I'm fairly certain that one of them was an ESPN commentator, and the other one was
Maddie.
Was Maddie from Go Sports. So you had one.
So that's exactly it.
Paintball,
you had a
one
layman, and that's cool. That's what you need to do, especially if you're starting your broadcasts and you're trying to build an audience. You've got to have that. And Maddie is pretty. He's intelligent. He's well spoken. It's fun to listen to him on Go Sports. So that's a good choice. You got to have somebody. You have to have a good play-by-play guy.
Yeah.
The guy who's doing color doesn't have to do a damn thing. He just has to sit there and make the odd quip and ask the right questions. Whereas
and that's what he did. He did a really great job, and I really enjoyed it. So they did that. They cut to the pits, talking to some of the players and the coaches.
Cool.
That was great. Go Sports does that as well, but because again, the luxury of editing in post is that they were able to cut in, let the conversation, and just have that conversation and let it finish and then go back to the point instead of having to cut the conversation off fast because, okay, they're back on the field. We got to go back.
So again, magic of editing.
Yeah. So you don't know when they really had that conversation. It could have been before the game, probably before the game started. And they could have that full proper, 2-3 minute long conversation and talk. Right. So it was great. It was good.
It gives you some more context for what you see. If you don't know, because I've watched Go Sports and I don't get a whole lot out of it because I don't know what the hell's going on most of the time. But it's cool to watch that, be able to get the context of seeing them talking to the people in the pits and kind of learning a little bit more about the sport.
Yep.
Than
it's very much written. It's very much written not for hardcore paintballers. Ooh, we got another call. Hello, you're on the air.
Hi, how are you doing? Big fan of you guys. Just a question. Wow. What do you think about paintball joining the Olympics in 6 to 8 years? Thank you.
Yeah, I think I in 6 to 8 years, I think if the Major League Paintball keeps doing what they're doing and moving the way they're doing it, I think it's possible. We've needed an overarching group to handle it. We've always had NXL, we've had MPPL, we've had all that stuff. Major League Paintball is an umbrella, which is what we needed. And they can justify, they can come up with the Olympic rules. They can basically set the standards for the guns, the masks, everything, and we're laughing.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
Cheers now. Thanks.
You too,
buddy.
Who was that?
I didn't recognize the voice.
I don't know who you are, but thank you.
Yeah, next time tell us your name. Jesus, come on.
You should. You're okay. You should have asked him.
I should have, but he caught me off guard with the Olympic thing, and I was like, I got to talk. I'm sorry. I got too excited.
Yeah. It's okay. We appreciate you anyways, brother.
Yeah. So.
Brad doesn't. Brad thinks you're a dick.
Lead Farmer says, not me, not possible. I really think it is possible for paintball to come to the Olympics. The thing is, though, is there needs to be hard standards that'll need to be figured out and handled and met and kept to. I think you're going to see things like the markers are going to be very specific. You're not going to... I mean, look at NXL. Everybody's shooting top of the line gear anyways. Everyone's shooting the same gun anyways. So it doesn't really matter. The masks, again, doesn't really matter. I think what we'll end up seeing with the Olympic style stuff is that the same thing we see in like running and in track and field. They all pretty much wear the same sneakers, you know, different brands maybe, but it's all basically the same.
Wiping at the Olympics, that would I Olympic style wiping, like shit, man.
Now he says the sport is still too small. 6 to 8 years, it's possible. If it had 6 to 8 years, Major League Paintball keeps moving in the way they're moving now.
Okay,
where
I see how you're quantifying the statement. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I think in 6 to 8 years, paintball will be ready for the Olympics. It just needs, because we've already seen it where MLP they're backing a video game, which is has nothing to do with the sport, but the fact that they see that there's a potential for it, so they're going to back it. ESPN signed the contract, which means that ESPN at least sees possibility for this, sees somewhere for the sport. Now, that being said, they also have tire wrestling, so take that with a grain of salt. But I really think it's possible. I do. And the idea that, most people watching it won't know what's happening. I don't know what the hell they're grading people on gymnastics for, but I still watch it. I watch the 100-meter dash, and I
gymnast go flip.
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, gymnast go flip. Golf is an Olympic sport. I don't know the first damn thing about golf. So I think it's possible. I think it just needs a bit more time, a bit more maturity. Not in the player base, I just mean as an actual industry. It just needs to mature a little bit more. And then there needs to be a what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. But there needs to be rules and standards put in place to qualify for Olympics. Like, the hard part would be, I guess, would be your team. Because right now, to qualify for the Olympics in, say, like curling, you would play in a league, and then you would up to the next league, and then you'd play for Canada, or like you'd try out for Team Canada, and then if you're really good for Team Canada, you could get picked to go for the Olympic team, and then it's so that whole thing would have to be created.
I didn't realize golf was an Olympic sport until this very second.
So is skateboarding.
Well, I mean, we got snowboarding, so I mean that doesn't surprise me. But
yeah.
Golf surprises me because I'm just wondering, like, where in France, what golf course are they playing on in France? And
I think France has a ton of golf courses.
Is it in PGA 2K23? Because if it is, I'm going to be loading that up here in a few minutes.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
The Cinderella story here at Augusta.
There's a ton of sports in the Olympics that I don't think need to be there. Was it called corsage? No. Yeah. It's basically
croissant?
No. It's like no. It's not croissant. It's it's where they make the horses like dance, like they prance funny.
Oh, I don't know. Considering I think equestrians are all.
But that's an Olympic sport. Like, and you tell me the paintball can't be an Olympic sport? Like, come on. It can happen. It's going to be speedball. You're going to need...
obviously it's going to be speedball. It's what the hell are you going to do? Is it going to be like a biathlon of paintball? They got to...
No.
Sport. You got to tag somebody in the woods? You got to hunt somebody maybe? I don't know. Now I'm just being ridiculous.
Name 10 countries that could put together a competitive professional team. Canada, the United States, Russia. Well, except I think Russia would have to compete as like the no-name country like they have been the last like 3 Olympics.
Spain, Jamaica.
Well, hold on. I'm trying to think of the ones that I actually know have professional teams.
Poland, Finland.
I don't think Finland has a team.
I think they would be absolute monsters and savages.
Especially in the winter, right? Get a winter paintball Olympics going on. Get some skis. Man, watch out for them fins.
Understand.
There are... Let's see. The United States, France, Britain, Portugal, the Netherlands, Mexico,
Venezuela.
No. Brazil has a team. Panama has a team. These are all teams that compete in the NXL, by the way. Panama's got its own league. I didn't know Panama had a league. Colombia. I knew Colombia has a huge paintball scene. Yeah, there's a ton. There's a ton of them out there. Iran. So there's the Tehran paintball league. They have a huge paintball league up there. The United Kingdom. Anyways, I make my point. There's enough teams. So, it can happen. What? I swear to God, that's Chris.
I bet you it is.
Hello, you're on the air. What's your name?
It's Cameron Collin.
Hey, Cameron.
Just to throw you guys back on, back to the broadcast. Wondering what your thoughts were on the bit they kind of had in the middle, just talking about the sport in general and kind of pushing people to go out and, play at their local field. It seems like, they had a good showcase, showing all ages, showing, kids playing speedball. Wondering what you think for that on, what it could do to help grow the sport.
I think it can only do good things. I really do. I think having ESPN broadcasting the sport, the speedball side of it, which is capturing that cool factor that I always talked about, that we need more cool factor in paintball. And it shows, if you show what the top tier can do, you're going to show where they can get to. So I think it's going to grow it. I think the hard part, though, is that this type of broadcast, while it's great happening at 2 a.m., our time, even 10 p.m. California time, it's awfully late. Now, if they were to translate that into YouTube videos and put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook, on TikTok, I think that'd blow up. I think it'd be great. I think it would just do wonders, honestly. I see no downside at all.
Cool. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Right? I think that the time slot, the fact that they were like, we need a second time slot, and then somebody else was saying that it broadcasted on TSN again.
That's sick.
Right? So it's I haven't checked that one out. I think that was Chris Struck that said that he said it was coming out on TSN. I'm just really curious to see if are we entering another golden era? Because suddenly it's like, oh, paintball's on TV. They're pushing forward with it. The MLP are, like I said, they've backed the video game that's actually looks really good on Steam. They're the awards show that they had last year, while definitely needs some work, the time and energy and money that was invested into it shows a future. I think there's
really cool.
Yeah, I think there's a lot happening behind the scenes that we're not seeing, and I think there's a really great opportunity for everything to kind of come back. I'm curious to see long-term growth, what we'll have there, because we are starting to lose fields, especially in Canada. People aren't opening new ones while other ones are closing. So I don't know what we're going to do about that. But hopefully maybe this will help. Maybe this will drive people to their local fields. Get people looking it up. So hopefully. But I think it's going to be good. I think ultimately this ESPN stuff is just good. And if they could add in a little bit more of, I don't know how to word it. Yeah, a little bit more.
Get a Jerry Lawler and a Jim Ross.
Yeah,
a little more flair, a little more pizzazz. But again, baby steps. It's his first time, Will. He has to learn his craft. Have you ever seen Blood in the Moonlight, Will? It is quite black shit. Sorry.
But yeah, baby steps. But we're getting there, and I think it's on the right move, and I think this is going to be a great thing. I would just like to see more talk about, because the commercials that ran, none of them were paintball. None of them. And I don't think that was because of it. I was thinking about it, and I think that's a little bit more about, you actually have to buy ads with the station, and the station will run them kind of based on how much you're willing to pay. So I could see that. But if they could maybe talk a bit more about,
it was great. It was Rhino. The big question was Rhino. Of course it was.
Yeah. So if we could find out a little bit more about where to find information about paintball, talk about what information to look for and where to go, I think we could see some great improvement. Oh, Cliff says, "Oh my!" I'm not sure why.
Oh my.
So yeah, I hope I answered that question.
Yeah, no, I think you did. I think you really got it on the kind of right there, nail on the head with especially seeing that they're rerunning this, and it'll get more exposure, especially with how well produced this was. If this is, let's say, a sign of what could come, it's definitely a good sign, and hopefully it does give a little more exposure to the sport and more people just see, even if it's you just see running while you're at a sports bar eating with the family. You're like, oh, what the hell's that on the TV there? You watch it and it's like, oh shit, paintball.
Exactly,
okay,
that'd be great, right? You go down to
go out and let's go play paintball. That'll probably be fun. Go out for a weekend and then the kids get hooked.
Right, yeah, you're sitting down at St. Louis's Bar and Grill, right? Gonna have some wings and there's paintball on the TV. How cool would that be?
That would be pretty sick.
Right?
Like, it would be pretty cool.
That'd be dope. Actually, that actually sounds like a really cool idea if you can organize it in your local area. The next time they're going to air one of these things, if it's in a time zone that works, like, hit up your local bar or something and be like, yo, like, I'd, like, put that on the TV for me.
Just go to a bar to watch paintball.
That's a really good idea.
Right? So, like, if we get a better time slot, I'll go to Dooley's. I'll bug the bartender to change a channel.
Cool. Well, I think that answers the question. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get your 2 cents on that aspect of the presentation. Thanks, Brad.
Cool, man. Cheers.
All right. See ya.
I love having a call-in show. This is so much fun.
In the Olympics.
Oh, piss off. It's not happening. And the first person, if somebody calls and says, you should have Chris is going to call. I've just said that out loud.
Why would you say it? Like, you damn fool. Also, Cliff is saying, I was in the original, but we hoped it would go on.
I think he's talking about he was the original, like, when paintball was on TV. I think paintball on TV back in the day was ahead of its time. I think
it failed because it couldn't contain the raw sexiness that is Cliff.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Cliff, you killed paintball on TV because you're too beautiful.
Yeah. They couldn't get the reach because
because you weren't going to Wasaga.
You being there put it from PG-13 to R. And then they couldn't sell it everywhere.
CO2 only.
Pistols and CO2. Man, you guys
then that Turkish dude's going to show up and just whoop everyone's ass. Like, nah, man, he's just going to come and clip you.
And he's going to show up with the original JT mask. It's only got like a little bit of his mouth covered.
And one of those, like, Bushmaster.
Yeah.
An old Bushmaster. And he still clap cheeks. Oh, man.
Lead Farmer. Stop that in the comments there, bud. So the broadcast, it continues on. They did a really, really good job. Now, one thing I didn't like, they cut for commercial. You come back, like when they went for commercial, I think the points were like 2-1. You come back from commercial, it's 5-3. And it's like, I thought this wasn't live. Why are we skipping time here?
Because time is a artificial construct.
Time is just a construct of man. It was clearly just a matter of like, for time's sake, right? Because the point is 20 minutes, but the clock stops, right? Mm-hmm. And so then you've got to, every time that clock stops, you're probably adding a minute and in between. So you're probably getting up there of 30 minutes total time. Plus they got to fit commercials in. Plus they got to fit the pits commentary in, all that jazz. So I could see why they had to cut it. It was 3-1 for Red Legion.
At least they put on team. At least they put on an entertaining team.
They did. They actually talked about Red Legion being a hyper aggressive team, and even went into very quickly went into the fact that Red Legion. They talked about they were the first professional paintball team, like dedicated professional. Everybody on the team was paid to play paintball, and they also talked about how Red Legion had their hyper aggressive style of play actually impacted the growth of the sport, or not the growth, the direction of the sport, as in like other teams started to play more aggressively because of the way Red Legion was playing. So it was kind of cool that they brought that up, right? They're like sprinkling in little bits of history and little tidbits, information, little factoids. So it was really nice. It was good.
Bit of knowledge.
Yeah, dropping a little bit of knowledge. It was good. I liked it. I just didn't like that big chunk of time suddenly went missing, and we missed out on a bunch of points.
But we missed out on points, but the casual viewer did not.
The casual viewer would have just been like, "Oh, okay, cool. Now they're 5-3, whatever." They would have carried on.
Exactly. We're not the target audience of that kind of
exactly. You know?
No, it's the same thing like I can't wait to see you, Cliff. That's why I also said the time slot doesn't matter.
Nope.
It doesn't. As long as it's getting out there, it'll be recorded, it'll be rebroadcast, it'll be available for download.
That's a really cool thought too, is that like
that's why it doesn't matter that it's on a morgue hour on Friday night. Morgue hour no longer applies. It's not the 60s when your demo on TV 18 to 24 at 9 o'clock on a Friday doesn't matter anymore.
Right. Like me and the missus watch Big Brother, and shut up. It was she made me choose. I either had to watch.
Of course she did.
I either had to sit and watch Big Brother, or sit and watch The Bachelorette. So I
would rather just go be like my man Sideshow Bob and not watch MacGyver and just go for a good constitutional around the block so that Selma could watch her MacGyver, because I would, you know what? If I was hoping you were going to say like RuPaul's Drag Race or something, I'd be like, yeah, man, I'm down with the drag queens. I've watched
RuPaul's Drag Race. It was good. It was entertaining.
7 seasons of it, homie. I was married to a lesbian. I watched a lot of RuPaul, bud.
Right. So, anyways, but the point I was trying to make was, it's always on the PVR. It's never live. Right? It's always on the PVR because it airs at like 9 p.m. I'm like, I ain't got time for that. PVR, bye. Stop spreading rumors, Damien. Damien's in the chat saying we're staying home to watch Big Brother
hero,
instead of going to a saga.
He's trying out for Big Brother Canada. That's what's going on.
I couldn't handle that, man. I couldn't do it.
Naked and Afraid?
No, definitely couldn't do that. I don't get afraid. No. So the broadcast, I would love to see an hour-long version of the same broadcast, same format, but an hour long. I think would do really, really well. That's the problem though. Is I'm thinking from as like somebody who enjoys watching paintball. An hour long of that would be great. I think a half hour is great for people to basically microdose paintball. Like if you're going to catch it, just kind of like flip it through the channels. Yeah. A half hour segment. Perfect. It's great. But the...
good use of the word microdose.
Huh?
Just good use of the term microdose.
Thank you. And so if they did an hour, I would love that. I think they could do a lot more with an hour. You could show the whole point. You could probably do more breakdowns of moves that guys have made. That kind of thing.
You could get a coach's corner kind of thing, someone to explain.
Yeah.
But I think, you got to see what you do with a half hour first. Don't invest that kind of money until you know it's going to work, kind of thing, right?
100%. I would really love to see these episodes uploaded to YouTube.
I kind of figured that it would be, because doesn't ESPN have an on-demand service?
They do, but you can't watch it in Canada. That's
unless you use a certain type of service that I don't know if we're allowed to support because of our current situation on our. But
I can tell you to use a VPN.
Those 3 letters. Kick ass. Use a VPN. Get yourself some ESPN watch. Sweet. Pay for your content. You would. I know all of you would pay for your content if you could, because we're good, upstanding people. And if it was broadcast on the CBC or on college radio, damn it, we'd pay for it. No, we wouldn't. That's a lie.
I would just love to see it on, like, if ESPN2 had a YouTube channel, throw it on there. It doesn't need to be anywhere special.
Really, yeah.
You know?
I shouldn't have to jump through hoops to go watch it.
Exactly. And it's not international. It's just, I'm sure it's licensing fees and all that nonsense too. So it's a little bit more difficult than we would like it to be. But that's just life, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm excited to see the next one. I'm a little worried that if they're only going to do... Now, this might have just been the first one. I don't know what the real schedule is because they did the last point of the Atlantic City Open. The next game, we're going into what? September? Is September Texas?
I'm not sure. Let me look here.
Boys, what was the name y'all gave me at NME? I forget. Matt, what did we call Matt?
Oh, Jimmy Flynn.
Yeah.
My boy Jimmy Flynn.
Jimmy Flynn.
It was that yellow.
Windy City. That's where they're going. Windy City in Illinois. September 13th and 15th. So are we going to see another half hour segment based on that? And then nothing until November, which is World Cup? So
that would be unfortunate.
It would be. And that's why I'm wondering, like, I'm excited to see how this is going to work. Or are they just testing the waters right now and we're going to see more than just one half-hour segment per, like, big thing like that? Because we've got, there's the WCPL. There's, what's the other one? I forget the other one. I've lost it. Anyways, there's other streaming. I'm reading things on my screen and trying to talk at the same time. It's not working. There's other options to film and broadcast. So I'm excited to see them do something with it.
100%.
Right. And then, I would just let a coach's corner be fantastic. It would be awesome. I'd also appreciate if they broke down, maybe at the beginning of each segment, when they're talking about the field and talking about how speedball works, talk about the markers themselves and talk about what the rules are on those, because a lot of people hear those and they think, oh, it's just full auto, and it's not. Like, explain that the markers are shooting at X number of balls per second, at 280 feet per second or 290, 300, whatever they're shooting at. Just kind of dig into that a little bit, and I think it would be great. There's so much you could do. I'm just thinking, like, get a pro player to talk about something for 60 seconds, like, talk about sliding technique for 60 seconds. Talk about snap shooting techniques for 60 seconds. Like, you could get these little.
I think that would be.
Right, you could sprinkle these little things in all over, and it would make it really engaging, and it would expand people's knowledge on it. People who are new to speedball but know paintball could benefit from that, could enjoy watching that. I think it'd be great. So, what do we have for time?
Tom Cole is making moves, that's for sure. Yeah, Tom Cole is up to some wily shit.
He is.
Awesome.
He's making some cool stuff happen, and that's going to be fantastic. I've got high hopes. I got high hopes in the kitchen.
High hopes. He's got high. Sorry.
Yeah, doing a show in a 10-person woods ball would not work. No, woods ball's out.
No.
Woods ball would not work.
Woods ball. That'd be so funny.
I mean, with wireless camera technology now, it'd be kind of cool, but I think it would just not be great. I think speedball's the way to go. It's bright, it's colorful, it's action packed, it's intense, it's what people want. It's fun to play, it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch the way they've edited this too, right? Because they go from top down to, like, the best camera angle. They tried using the GoPros. Man, they really need to rework those GoPros. I think there's a way to make those work. I think they just did it wrong, to be honest. I think barrel cams would be interesting.
Barrel cams would be fun.
Right? Barrel cams would be interesting, but I could also see the players not wanting them on their barrels. Right? Message up. GoPros, they're not heavy, but they're heavy enough. So... but yeah, so we've got about 3 to 5 minutes left. Sam's queuing something up here. What's it doing?
They've had enough of your shit. These people have done listening to you, Bradley.
The problem is that if somebody else during the day overshoots their time, it messes with my schedule. So I'm looking at this going, according to that clock, I have to be off the air in 2.5 minutes. According to that clock, I have to be off the air in 8 minutes.
Is there a smart clock? I would go with the one with 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think we're going to play around with that one for for a little bit.
It's a good call. I think that's a good call.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, barrel cams were voted against. I get that. I understand that. I wouldn't use it either. So, but yeah, we've got about 2 minutes left. Hopefully, it'll line up properly, because the last time we came off the air and the background track was still playing of last week's podcast. So, hear me out. Can we all take a moment to admire Brad's beard? Yes, you can.
Absolutely. Thank you, Wobbles.
Thank you.
You are an absolute sweetheart. And
I actually had it cut last week. So, yeah. No, it was good. It was fun. Ultimately, it was great. If you haven't seen it, try and find it somewhere. Excuse me. Coughing into the mic like an amateur.
Like an amateur.
Mm-hmm.
Like a filthy casual.
Yeah, it was great. They did a great broadcast. If you need help finding it online, reach out to me. Reach out to us on the podcast page. Shoot us a message, and we'll help you out. I'll help you find it.
Brad will help you find it.
I will help you find it. We'll work together on this. I've got ways. I know people. So we'll figure something out. But yeah, we've got about a minute left. What do you think?
I think I'm hungry. I'm trying to figure out if I'm just going to get me some Domino's.
Ooh, buddy.
Yeah, I've made enough bad decisions in my life. Why not make one more?
You know what? You can't go wrong with it. We've got one of those I
love Domino's.
Cheesy bread supremacy. Yep. So, but that's
it's my guilty pleasure, man. I love me some Domino's.
Man, I feel you on that, man. I love Domino's too. So, but that's it, folks. So, thanks for everyone who called in. Appreciate it. We've got this fancy phone line. Love to use it. Going to use it every chance we get.
Yes, sir.
As I'm leaning away
Next
from the
Thursday
microphone.
night will be I'll be getting ready to go to Wasaga, so I'm going to get me some sleep. I'll be on the show and I'll get some nappies, and then I'll call you in the morning. I'll send you pictures from the Half Mile High Club.
Gross. All right, folks, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Until next week, cheers.
Cheers.